What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So we are recording on Memorial Day weekend, so happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there. And Chris will be back probably next week. He's on vacation, and then Daniel will be back the next couple of weeks. So he is in the process of moving overseas. He said I can break the news to everybody when he gets back. Will he be overseas? I can't remember. Or will he still be prepping?
No, he'll be overseas.
Yeah, so he'll be in Japan. I'm super jealous. But happy for him and his family. So look out for him in the next couple of weeks. Please continue to tune in. So Monday, Tuesday are topics. Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP. So this one will be with Delisha Hodo. It's already recorded. I just have to finish processing it and put it up. So look out for that one. And then Fridays, everything else. Movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is from bleepingcomputer.com, and it's by Lawrence Abrams. And the title of it is American Radio Relay League Cyberattack Takes Logbook of the World Offline. All right. So anybody can be got, everybody, right? So the American Radio Relay League, ARRL, warned its users that it suffered a cyber attack, right? So it disrupted its IT systems, online operations, their email, the logbook of the world. And what this is, the ARRL, it's the National Association for Amateur Radio in the United States. So people that get on and like play on radio and whatnot, like this is their kind of, I don't want to call it a meeting. It's not necessarily a meeting spot, but it's their organization that they use to communicate with each other, right? So what they do is they represent their radio interests to government regulatory bodies, right? So they do have some type of dealings with dealing with those organizations that kind of, what am I trying to say here? Not control, their regulatory systems, but the ones that say, hey, this is what you can do on these frequencies, this is what you do with this, this is what you do with this. So the regulatory bodies, right? Does that make sense? Yeah.
They lobby the FCC and a few other regulatory bodies. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm trying to look for here. But they suffered a cyber attack, right? So the main thing with this, right? So anytime we talk about cyber attacks, we talk about your information getting out there. So the main thing with this is they talk about how they reiterated to their membership that they didn't get any type of social security numbers or anything like that, right? So like they don't have their socials, but in order for you to join the organization, you have to give an email, right? So they have their email. They do have their addresses as well, right? So even though this was a cyber attack, it's unknown if they suffered a ransomware attack, right? So it's unknown if whether or not whoever did this attack went to them and said, hey, give us this amount of money and we'll give you information back, or we won't release it, right? Because that's usually almost 90% of the time now it's ransomware, right? They're like, hey, we have this information, we're locking it up, you can't access it. And then they ask for money, but it's not clear yet whether or not that was the case. But like I said, they don't have any socials or anything like that, but they have the names of people, they have their email addresses. You have to use it to become a member of this organization, right? So again, this is one of those things where we talk about this whenever these cyber attacks happen. You got your second and third order effects, right? So because they have an email, they can do phishing, right? Because they have your address, they can do different things like what's it called, like deed stealing or whatever, where like somebody can pretend like they own the house because they have your information, right? So it's probably not too much more of a step to get your birth date, find your social, and one of the other numerous cyber attacks that have happened over these last several years, right? It's not a big leap for them to start connecting dots to make this a little bit more than what it was. So even though it wasn't as easy as them getting the social security number in this breach, it could be out there already, right? Because I can imagine a lot of this intersects, right? Like people that are members of this organization may also be victims of some other type of cybersecurity attacks that have happened in the past. So it just allows for, like I said, the dots to be connected, which this is the world we live in, right? Like we put everything out there when we signed up electronically for these different types of things. This is what can happen. But I mean, it sucks to see it, but we'll see what happens with this, right? Like whether or not it was a ransomware attack, whether or not that comes out, right? Like whether or not they paid the money, which to everyone out there, do not pay the money. Do not pay the money. Like how often do we need to say this? You only embolden them, right? And you can run a situation where they're not being honest. Like this ransomware group may have had help with somebody else or not being honest with them, and then all of a sudden that other group that didn't get paid, they're coming after you, right? Like we've seen this before. We just saw this recently happen within the last month. So don't pay the ransom if it is a ransomware attack. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on it?
Yes, so please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I think we just hit 400 or we're at 399. Like we're right there teetering. We have going into the month of June, I'd like to get us up to 5 or close to 5. So by the end of the year, we get 1,000. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Please share with your friends. Again, tune in Monday through Friday. We release episodes and then articles throughout the week. So every episode gets an article, and those articles get tied into the newsletter, which drops on Fridays. It's called the Weekly Rundown, just like the show. So definitely tune in for all that good stuff. So with the article, so the American Radio Relay League, right? I joked about it in the chat. These are some people you don't want to mess with, right? These are people who have the giant whip antennas on their Suburbans. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones who are keeping the FM spectrum alive and going, right? They communicate with people all over the world. That's what the logbook is for. So it's the communication, successful communications between themselves and other people all over the world. I worked with one of these guys. They're very passionate about what they do. And if it all goes down, right, like we get plunged into a world of darkness somehow, because AI is taking over, these will be our saviors. These people will keep the communication lines up and going. So leave these people alone, right? They're just out there having fun on their hand radios. I don't know what the attack, like aside from what Shannon brought up with the stealing information to then combine with other information to do phishing attempts and things of that nature. Because I can't really think of what else could have been lucrative for this group to take down. Like maybe to infiltrate the ARRL in some respect, but again, they only really function to keep hand radio going, to improve the use of it. And then if for whatever reason communications were to go down, right, like satellites start falling out of orbit, they would keep the lines of communication up between us and hopefully our friends. So leave them alone. They have a cool mission. They're just out there having fun. I see them down here in Florida. I used to see them all the time in Alaska. Like I used to see Escalades with whip antennas flopping around. Like they love what they do. I'm starting to see it down here now too, in Florida. So there's a lot of them out there. So hopefully this doesn't set them back too much. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt their flow or operations to whatever extent that they are I guess mechanized or organized. But I know it's a fairly big organization. So it's kind of a shame that they were targeted and for whatever reason. So we'll see what the future holds. Maybe there will be some more that comes out of this. Maybe it will be surface level, but still disruptive where the people are trying to steal their identities and things of that nature. Hopefully it was nothing nefarious, right? None of our near peers want to get a hold of the American Radio Relay League and what they do to take us down from the inside. So I can think of all kinds of conspiracy movie type stuff that they could do with this, but it could be just as simple as like, hey, we took down the World Book and we want some money. The radio equipment is not cheap, so these people do have a little bit of disposable income. So maybe it's just that simple. They're just like, hey, this is another target we can hit.
So you bring up a good point, right? Because like when you watch the dystopic movies or like the end of the world type movies, what ends up happening? Like that's how they're communicating with people, right? They're on the radio, like, hey,
that's all that's left.
Everybody out there, exactly, right? So if you take that out first, right, like that may be smart,
Yeah, so that's left. Like when I was still active duty, we did a lot of work with the radio spectrum because that like when it comes to contested comms, like they take down your satcom, you're dead in the water. So how do you communicate? You use radios. And out of all the services, I would say the Marines were the best at it. They used to have this humongous whip antenna and they would communicate over the pond with it. And I used to blow my mind. Like, how does that even work? Because it's tall, but it's not that tall. Like, how are you getting all the way to the other side of the Atlantic? But they keep it alive. So I assume a lot of those people also join like the American Radio Relay League. You don't want to piss off the Marines. So there it is. So continue to tune in throughout the weeks. Monday and Tuesday are topics. Wednesday discussion. Thursdays Ask a CISSP, and then Fridays everything else: movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Hit us up wherever you can find us. Basically, we're pretty much everywhere under the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW. Ask a CISSP, or get me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Medium for articles, LinkedIn for articles, pretty much everywhere, Threads. So hit me up. Let me know what you think about the show. Please give us a rating. I always forget to say that. So when I look at our stats, we're actually highly rated when it comes to volume. So we're in the top 10% of um, all podcasts. So it's like 3.3 million podcasts. We're in the top 10%. Kind of crazy, right? But we produce a lot of material. A lot of people listen to us, but they don't leave ratings. So our rating level, even though on Apple, I want to say it's like a 4.6, there's only a handful of ratings. So all in all, I think we're at like, I think it said 24% on listener scale. So 10% of podcasts, but only 24% rating. So I want to get those closer to one another. So please, wherever you listen to us, leave us a rating, and then the algorithm should do something with it to get us a higher score. So, again, hit up all the websites, hit me up personally. Stay safe, stay secure.